So PwC did a study a couple of years ago, and they talked to a lot of business owners and CEOs. And CEOs, about 80% of CEOs in Africa say that the biggest risk that businesses face today is around human capital. And they talked about how they can't drive businesses forward because they lack the right human capital with the skills that they need, leadership skills, communication skills that they need to grow their businesses. In a separate study, they showed about 95% of small growing businesses CEOs think that the right talent, the right skills is one of the biggest gaps that they face. And this is even bigger across East Africa. There's a study that was done by the Intercouncil University of East Africa, and they talked about over 70% of young people who are leaving universities are said to be half-baked. And what they define as half-baked is that the students lack the skills, the mindset to be able to drive change within the continent. And that's the space that we enter. That we believe that as we equip young people to have the skills, the mindset, the networks, the experiences they need to be able to drive change in this continent, we not only enable CEOs and businesses to be able to succeed, but ultimately we change the continent. There's a separate study that was done that showed that 40% of young people in this continent are unemployed. It's likely that post-COVID the numbers are likely to be a lot higher. And what that speaks to is we're investing heavily in young people throughout primary, secondary, university, but they get out and we don't reap the benefit of that investment. And I think as a continent, as a country, that's a significant loss. And while we within Lapid leaders, what we then do is be able to ask, what skills do we need to be able to empower this young person with so that they're able to get jobs or build businesses? Part of what brings me joy is when we hear of our young people who are building businesses that employ significant number of people. Because ultimately, if this decade is about young people, we've got to be able to reimagine the possible as far as it's not just employment, it's employment, possibilities of running business. And to be able to work together with business owners, with governments to ask, how do we create an enabling environment that enables young people to thrive even as entrepreneurs?